Hi, everybody. Good to be with you. I saw a really fun movie called In Your Dreams. It's a new Turkish movie, and it's about a guy who is a commitment phobic, narcissistic playboy. And he meets this kind of whiny princess of a lady who is on a obsessive manhunt for a husband. And when they connect, there's kind of a alternate reality that kicks in. And suddenly they find themselves married without even knowing each other. And because they're both immature and don't have relationship skills and they're selfish, they end up fighting all the time and they hate each other. And they finally go to a marriage counselor and they say, "We just want to wake up from this nightmare." They realize they've kind of gotten into each other's dream. They say, "We want to wake up from this nightmare." And I thought it's very symbolic of a lot of our relationships that have been nightmares. Hopefully, not too many, but there are some. And this is very close to A Course in Miracles teaching. The Course says that there are two kinds of relationships. It calls special relationships and holy relationships. A special relationship is one in which you single out somebody else as the source of your good, and you misattribute to them the power to make you happy or unhappy. And so then you go up and down like a yo-yo. They're nice to you, you're happy. They're not nice to you, you're unhappy. And while the world celebrates special relationships, usually they end up being in agony because we misattribute our power to them. That's what happened with this couple in the movie. Now, a holy relationship is one in which you come together as whole people and you're there to connect and share and support each other instead of what can I get and how can I fill in this emptiness inside me. And so this couple in the movie has to figure out how to wake up from the nightmare. And the answer is basically shift from specialness to holiness and quit worrying about what you can get and start enjoying being with the other person. So it's kind of closer to life than a lot of us would care to admit. So, we tend to give our power away, don't we? This is called projection, where we take some unwanted aspect of ourself and we project it onto somebody else and then we hate them for it. Or we don't love ourselves and then we project the source of our love onto them. And when they give it to us, we feel great. But when they don't, we feel awful. But that's not really love because you've demeaned yourself by denying that the love you already seek, is already inside you. So wouldn't it be wonderful if we could take our power back from all the people we made up stories about? Now, there's a wonderful lesson from Course in Miracles that says, I've invented the world I see. What it means is that everybody you meet and every situation you're in is basically a story you made up. Now, if you like the story, please continue. If you don't like the story, then change it. And I've mentioned before in these broadcasts, one of the best exercises I've ever done in my workshops is to ask people, what is your old story that you'd like to let go of? And what is the new story you'd like to replace it with? Well, the old story is there's just no available good men. Well, new story could be, well, there's a lot of good guys out there and all I really want is one. Or I never have enough money to pay for fun things. I just have enough money to pay my bills, but I really would like to have some money to play and take a vacation and buy new clothes and go out to dinner and have fun things in my life. That's my new story. My old story is that my boss is oppressing me and I'm powerless and I have to stay. My new story is I don't have to take on my boss's oppression. I can put a peace bubble around me and let my boss say what he wants to, but I'm going to remain whole. Or I could find a job I like better. I have options. So what we want to do is get out of the old victim mentality and into the new creator mentality. Let's go back to this dream analogy from the movie. So, Course in Miracles tells us that the world that seems so real is really a dream, that it's a figment of our imagination. It seems solid, but when you poke past the appearances, there's no substance to it. Quantum physics is now proving this in its own way. And so the cool thing about a dream is that anything can change to anything at any time. So you're walking down the street with your fifth grade buddy, and then you're all of a sudden you're in Japan, and then there's a monster chasing you, and then an angel comes, and then you're on another planet, and then you're back home with your kids. I mean, all kinds of wild things happen in dreams because everything pivots on the current thought. Now that's more real than we know because it's the same way in quote real life in 3D and physical dimension life that anything can change to any time at any time when you change your thought about it. So you can be sick one day and healthy the next. And we know a lot of people who've had terminal diagnoses or advanced cancer or some other disease, and something shifts inside them and the disease disappears. And doctors are befuddled. Well, it was misdiagnosis. Oh, spontaneous remission. But we know that there are no accidents in the universe, that the universe functions by very solid laws. And one of those laws is, as you think, so it is. And so we've been thinking in a disease mentality. The moment you change your mind to a healed or whole mentality, the disease can disappear because you're no longer a vibrational match to it. So this is why it's so crucial to change your life from the inside out. We're busy rearranging the chess pieces and manipulating people and trying to make this one go away and trying to make this one come. And it hasn't really worked, has it? Because it's like a mirror, right? So let's say your hair's messed up, and you take a mirror and you look in the mirror and you see that your hair's messed up. And so you go to the mirror and you start poking the hair on the mirror in your face, trying to rearrange it. But it doesn't work because the mirror is just a mirror. It's not the source of the experience. Your hair, or really the mind, is the source of the experience, and you're just messing with the mirror. And you can't get very far trying to fix the mirror because the mirror is just doing its job. It's a neutral, objective reflection of what's going on here. Now, of course, there's more to your life than what your hair being messed up. You want to look at your perceptions. And so the world is nothing more or less than a great mirror that shows us what we're believing. And if you want to know what you're believing, look at what you're getting. There's always a 100% direct relationship between what you're getting and what you're believing. And so if you don't like what you're getting, change what you believe. This might be a good point for me to remind you that next week we're starting my brand new course, the Mastery of Spiritual Writing. If you are a writer or would like to become one, I will guide you through what it takes to put on the master writer's mindset, get out from under fear, hesitation, self-doubt, judgment, writer's blocks, anything you perceive as stopping you, and really move forward magnificently with your writing, whether it's a book, a screenplay, poetry, a memoir, whatever you like. And we're going to really come out on top of writing, and I'm going to train you to become a master writer. So it starts May 9th. It's a 10-week course, 10 live webinars, a 20-lesson online course, coaching support available. So please join me. Go to my website, alancohen.com. I'd love to meet you there next week. So let's just take a moment now and think about any situation in your life that is distressing you. A relationship, a health issue, financial issue, career issue. What belief is that mirroring? I can't have it all. I'm not enough. There's just so much money to go around. There's too much competition. I've had a bad track record with relationships. What if we flipped all those? And we said, I am enough. My new story is I am enough. There's a lot of good people to go around. I deserve abundant health. I don't have to put up with sickness. I don't have to put up with pain. That God created me in God's perfect image and likeness. And as a divine being, everything that is true of God is true of me. God cannot be sick, and neither can I, because at my core, I'm a whole perfect spiritual being. Now, which feels better? I'm sick and never going to get better, or I'm a divine being and I don't deserve sickness, so I can be well. In fact, on one level, I'm already well, that my spirit was never daunted or touched or damaged by anything that happened on earth, including a physical disease or a divorce or financial setback. That in the world of perfection, I'm already perfect. Now that sounds arrogant, but it's arrogant to say that you're not, because you're denying who God created you to be. And Jesus said, be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. He did not say, become perfect. He did not say, strive to be perfect. He did not say, keep going until you get perfect. He said, be perfect, which is his present tense. In other words, claim the perfection that you already own. And when you know that perfection is yours, in you, through you, as you, for you, then the perfection that you perceive in here has to be mirrored. It cannot not be. They can say, well, I've been practicing this for a while and it hasn't changed. Well, you have to practice some more. You have to get the deep knowingness of your wholeness and perfection deep into your subconscious. And when the nickel drops, as some people say, then you'll start clicking and relationship people show up and jobs will show up and money will show up and health will show up spontaneously and organically without any struggle, effort, or on your part. Course in Miracles tells us that struggle is never required. Sacrifice is never required. Loss is never required. Those are all stories the ego made up about how you get to peace. You cannot get to peace through pain. You cannot get to healing through brokenness. You cannot get to right relationship through complaining about the relationships that aren't working. So what we're doing in this video series is we're recalibrating our minds so we think with God. Isn't that a wonderful idea? The disciple Peter came to Jesus. He was complaining about something. And Jesus said, Peter, you're thinking like a man thinks. You're not thinking like God thinks. So what we want to do is rewire our mind so we're thinking as we were intended to think with great spirit. And great spirit only thinks magnanimous, perfect, loving, creative, joyful, celebratory thoughts. There's no other vocabulary in God's mind. The idea of death and loss and separation and suffering is never occurred to God. You understand? This is high metaphysics here, that God, because God is perfect, God sees only perfection. And when you think with God, you see only perfection as well. You want to raise your mind above the fray, above physical reports, and go into spiritual reports. And the word gospel means good news or good spell, a good new mindset. So what we want to do is elevate ourselves into not just the good new mindset, not the better mindset, but the best mindset, but the only mindset that really works. Somebody said, do not let good be the enemy of better. In other words, you may have things be good, but what if they could be better? And don't let better be the enemy of best. And don't let best be the enemy of perfect. In other words, we're constantly upgrading our belief system so that we come into full alignment with the mind that created us. And that mind is filled only with love, only with empowerment, only with healing, only with well-being. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I hope this was interesting to you. It's interesting to me. I talk about what I'm passionate about. Like if I'm excited about something, I'll come and meet with you and share it. So I want to encourage you also to stay on the cutting edge of your passion to go where joy leads you instead of where fear, guilt, or obligation leads you. And there's this Tao, the Tao Te Ching. There's this river of life that is always flowing. And when you put your boat in it, it takes you to pretty amazing places. And we're all getting to more and more amazing places every day. And that's what we're here for. Okay. Love you lots. We'll see you real soon and have a fabulous day. Take care.